Who's the best player in the country?
To the media or me?
As you see it.
Man, what the hell is Reebok doing? Y'all tripping. You got one of the most marketable WNBA athletes, not even WNBA, athletes in general.
But it's actually Indiana that has 7 points off of the turnovers that Atlanta has created until we saw Angel Reese, shout out to our teammate, Angel Reese in particular, her energy shifted. I thought when she got some of those easy baskets to go in the paint that quite frankly she had struggled with to open the ball game, that's when you saw this defense begin to pick up its energy, this dream squad to begin to play with a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, athletes know it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that energy is contagious because if you look at Angel Reese, she already has 7 and 9. She's already getting close to a double-double. But then also, if you think about, on the other side here, you're seeing the Indiana Fever. They're just being a little bit methodical as well.
Welcome back to the Clark Update. Today, we have got a shocking WNBA story that you definitely do not want to miss. Angel Reese is reportedly going completely off after Reebok cancels her shoe contract and makes a massive move involving Caitlin Clark. What exactly happened behind the scenes? Why is Caitlin Clark suddenly at the very center of this massive deal? And how could this change the fierce rivalry between Clark and Reese? Let us break it all down because this story is getting wild. What if one of the most unpleasant aspects of Angel Reese's career is now the contract that was originally meant to make her one of Reebok's biggest basketball stars? Reese's popularity and endorsements and her social media presence are no longer the only things in the spotlight, especially after a string of performances that have left fans wondering about her offensive growth. Is Reebok simply investing in a brand that is currently far larger than the actual basketball player herself? Or is Reebok actually seeing the superstar performance they anticipated when they made a significant investment in Angel Reese? Because it is getting harder to dismiss that question in light of what just transpired versus Indiana. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 73% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It is free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now, back to the video. What an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment. This is ESPN's coverage of this toxic turd of a league.
It is more embarrassing than this never-ending burn on my lip that just refuses to go away. Allow Uncle Casey to give you some valuable advice. Don't ever get so excited to eat your mother's cooking that the food burns your lip, especially if you're on camera every day, because this damn thing is taking forever to heat.
Reebok did not just put Angel Reese's name on any old pair of sneakers and call it a day. Reese became the second WNBA player to acquire a signature sneaker from Reebok when the company signed her to a multi-year agreement and revealed that she would get her own signature shoe.
Did you guys hear that Angel Reese, that WNBA basketball player that does nothing but drama, Reebok has pulled their endorsements and sponsors?
Yeah, I am still laughing about what went down last night in that game against the Fever and the Dream Dog. Caitlin Clark laughing at Angel Reese about that last miss. Man, it was just so much going on in that game that had me laughing my butt off. It was ridiculous. But this right here is the cherry on top. All right, during the halftime, I usually speak over these women, and I was seeing my chat just going in. They were like, man, they glazing Angel off of this terrible performance. And I was like, hold on, man, I got to go back and listen. And when I listened to it, man, I done gained 8 abs, dog. I done broke my side laughing so hard. This is crazy work. It's almost like they can't say anything.
This is crazy work. It's almost like they cannot say anything. Additionally, it put Reese under a completely different level of scrutiny because once a corporation actually creates a distinctive signature product around you, people will inevitably begin to question whether your performance justifies the actual amount of that investment. Angel Reese even said she was playing like trash. Just check this out. Well, Angel, your team is on a 17-4 run right now, starting with a 7-0 run. How did you kind of get things going for your team? Yeah, I mean, I was playing like garbage in the beginning, but this is a game of runs. You have got to put that in your back pocket. Well, yeah, you continued to play like garbage throughout the game, so pardon the language. You cursed, so I did too. You continued to play like complete garbage. And now here we have this ESPN double-double duel in Atlanta. And the truth is, neither one of these bigs played well at all. And Aaliyah Boston was missing easy layups terribly too, just like she has been doing lately. But on August 16th, 2026, the whole basketball conversation took a wild new turn. In a matchup that had everything a television producer could desire, the Atlanta Dream hosted the Indiana Fever. With playoff seeding directly on the line, Caitlin Clark was back on the floor, Angel Reese was locked in on the other side, and their long-standing college rivalry was lurking right beneath the surface like a compelling story just waiting to unfold. Can we finally stop with the constant comparisons between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark? Can we just let this thing die? Caitlin Clark embarrassed this girl, and I actually halfway feel sorry for Angel Reese, but it is not for the reason you think. It is not because people are viciously attacking her online. No, it's not that. I don't feel bad about that because they do it to Clark all the time. She deserves it. Frankly, she wanted this. She said they are not just watching one person. They're watching for me, too. Remember, she has been trying to prove she is better than Caitlin Clark this entire time. Unfortunately for Reese, this storyline revolved around playing basketball. Then, she struggled. After a really sluggish start, she finished the first half with 7 points on 3 of 10 shooting, along with 9 rebounds. During her halftime interview, Reese openly admitted she was playing terribly, which was probably the most brutally honest scouting report anyone could have given right then. The momentum finally swung as the Fever secured a 95-91 victory in overtime. Despite those struggles, Reese still finished with 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. So, it's not like this was a total statistical disaster where she did not contribute anything, but when a pro athlete gets an open look right at the rim with the game on the line, the expectations are pretty simple. That missed final shot was so bad, it became the lasting image of the game. The media spent all of yesterday trying to convince us that Angel Reese is a professional-grade basketball player. They tried to convince us she is the most dominant force in the entire league. But here is the problem: we have eyes. And absolutely nobody believes that hype. You know, I almost feel bad for Angel Reese. Note the keyword almost. I would feel bad for her, except she actually believes the lie that her offensive technique is somehow flawless when we all know it is not. At the end of the day, you need the ball to actually go in the hoop. That is crucial because her whole reputation is built on physicality, boarding, and controlling the paint. Reese's ability to generate extra possessions has always been her absolute greatest strength. She really uses her raw physical presence to make life miserable for defenders, constantly attacking the glass and fighting for those offensive boards. The numbers definitely back up that side of her play. She actually led the entire WNBA in rebounding heading into this matchup, and even put up 15 points and 17 boards against Toronto earlier this year, including a career-high 11 offensive rebounds. Nobody is saying those stats do not matter, but that is precisely the catch. The game gets a whole lot tougher once opposing teams figure out exactly what you want to do. Defenders are going to clog up your driving lanes once they know you are only a threat right under the rim. They will just sag off you if they know you cannot shoot. They can easily anticipate your attempts before you even start your move, especially if they know your favorite moves around the rim. Honestly, ESPN, you guys have to do better. You seriously have to do better and give us honest sports coverage at some point. ESPN has completely embarrassed themselves here. You have Monica McNutt and her whole crew, including Andrea Carter and Chinny Gume, literally on the live ESPN broadcast, flat out lying about how Angel Reese actually played. You have ESPN pretending that Angel Reese had a great game, with Andrea Carter claiming she wasn't even missing her layups. Apparently she was just getting blocked, or it was the defense. But look, pro-level defenses are specifically designed to force players into their weaknesses. Raw physicality alone is just not going to cut it anymore. Now, people question if her offensive game has kept up with her rising fame. Naturally, social media reacted to all of this with its usual level-headed nuance, and I am not being subtle here. Reese's missed layups had critics claiming she completely forgot the basic fundamentals of basketball. Every tough miss at the rim was treated as proof that she does not belong in the pros. Suddenly, every single missed shot became a referendum on her entire career. That is where we have to separate internet drama from real, fair criticism. Missed shots are not the real issue here. But as one of the biggest names in women's basketball, she needs to actually develop into the dominant, complete player that her massive hype says she already is. But the real issue is the shot she lacks, combined with all this intense media attention. And that takes us right back to Reebok. Cancel that contract because this whole brand angle is way more complicated than just her bad play. The only real edge she has over Caitlin Clark is rebounding. And I am barely counting those boards because half of them come from her own missed shots, while the rest come from shoving people under the basket, just like she did to Caitlin Clark last night. Just like she did to Natasha Howard last season when she won that fight. Honestly, she does it to everyone. You are basically slapping them in the face. She plays dirty under the rim, crosses her fingers, and just prays that the refs will not call a foul. That is what is going on with her. We have got to stop. You have great players, and you have good players. There is a huge difference. You are all trying to push Angel Reese into the elite category, but anyone with eyes can see she is nowhere near Caitlin Clark's level. Not even close. And that is where ESPN enters the conversation. Even though Reese's numbers on offense have been pretty hard to defend, several ESPN commentators have been accused of hyping her up way too much. After that Fever game, when Reese started off shooting horribly, the critics really went wild. Even so, her energy and elite rebounding were still obvious, and her overall presence on the court was still praised during the halftime show. But this is where it gets awkward. If Reese grabs 9 rebounds in a single half, creates extra possessions, and fights hard for offensive boards, while locking down on defense, analysts have every right to praise that effort. Highlighting a player's genuine strengths is not the issue here. But when her offensive limits become impossible to ignore, the talk shifts away from the actual game on the screen, focusing instead on her big personality, her rebounding, her energy, or her overall impact. Elite playmaking, you see Caitlin Clark orchestrating the whole floor. It feels like both of these players are leaning hard into their strengths. But let us get back to Angel Reese real quick. She was a major catalyst in turning this game around. She told Holly that she really just needed to take a deep breath and completely stop overthinking some of these plays. Look, I have been there myself, and sometimes the basket is just too open. She is just so used to dealing with double teams. She is used to triple teams and physical contact, so when she gets open, she expects contact. You look over your shoulder, but she's settled in. And I love that she is being such a great mentor to Medina. At this level, the standard has to go up, not down. Reese still really needs to develop on the offensive end, but she is already an elite rebounder and a physically dominant force, a marketable star, and a crucial player. Her ability to bounce back on the court is incredibly valuable. Her knack for creating those extra possessions can completely change a game, and her size inside opens up so many possibilities. But she still needs serious work on her shooting, finishing, and offensive decision-making. So naturally, fans start wondering if her actual play matches the hype of her massive ad campaigns. That is what makes Reese's situation so awkward. Reebok is doing way more than just putting her name on a shoe. Reese must prove that the actual player behind the brand can grow beyond her current strengths, especially since Reebok is building an entire basketball identity around her. There is a picture going viral online, and we all remember the final moments of this intense game. Right, when Angel Reese had a chance to win the game and secure all the bragging rights over Caitlin Clark. But instead, Angel Reese missed the damn layup. Now, to all the Angel Reese fans, I need you to calm down because this is nothing new. She has been missing layups all year. But she has consistently proven that she can absolutely dominate the glass. So her rebounding was never the main concern for anyone. The real question is whether she can develop her offensive game so defenders cannot just pack the paint and block her favorite paths to the rim. And honestly, that question is still completely unanswered as of right now. But the good news for Reese is that her story is far from over. That game on August 16th showed exactly why we cannot judge her entire career on one single missed shot. I do not know what it is, but this has to be one of the worst weekends ever for Angel Reese, bro. I mean, she became a meme last game, and she became an even bigger meme after this game. And all I have to tell you is that Caitlin Clark truly gets it. Making excuses for every single flaw is not what we should be talking about at this level. At this level of the game, it is all about figuring out how to fix those weaknesses. That stellar performance followed a much better effort against Connecticut, where Ree helped Atlanta win 104-69 with 15 rebounds and 4 blocks. That kind of performance is a clear reminder that her value on the court does not just disappear when her jump shot is failing her on any given night. It shows exactly why teams still appreciate the physical and defensive presence she brings. But being valuable is not the same thing as being a complete player. Those are two completely different things when you are playing basketball, or should I say, trying to play. We are talking wide open. She was so wide open that you literally could not see another defender on the screen with her, and she still missed the layup. A chance to win the game right at the buzzer. A wide open fundamental layup off the backboard, and she missed it. She cannot do that either. Getting swatted left and right by Michaela Timpson and Monique Billings. So, the narrative that Reese suddenly cannot play basketball at all is just as ridiculous as saying that any criticism of her game is unfair. In reality, she is a superb rebounder with huge defensive and physical value on the floor. Even so, those glaring offensive limitations continue to be a major factor when evaluating her as a professional athlete. How far her game can go will ultimately depend on how she develops as a finisher. It is about how consistently she shoots, how she attacks different defensive schemes, and how she punishes opponents who dare to leave her wide open. The discussion completely shifts if certain areas of her game improve. But if they do not, fans and critics alike will keep pointing out the massive gap between her superstardom and her weak offensive game. While Reebok's continuous marketing of Ree proves they are still fully committed to this partnership, and the Angel Reese 1 shoe line is already a highly successful signature product instead of just some theoretical concept, Ree is still going to face heavy criticism. It is the exact opposite expectations rise with the size of the brand. Just think about all those people talking heavy trash when Kayla Clark missed those crucial free throws in that one game. Oh yeah, we definitely remember that. We remember. And guess what? Angelise could not even finish a simple layup to win the game. I am telling you right now, this whole situation is absolutely hilarious. Oh my God, this is incredibly funny. This is way funnier than that viral clip of the guy impersonating Angel Reese. I mean, she literally hit the floor and put her hands over her head. Sorry, guys. She hit the floor, putting her hands over her head like, oh my God, I messed up. Yeah, you messed up real bad, Angel, real bad. But let us pull up the meme right now and show all of you this draft. This brings us right back to the initial rumor that Reebok terminated Angel Reese's contract, because there is zero reliable proof to back up that claim right now. Actually, all the evidence we have right now suggests the exact opposite, since Reebok is still marketing Ree and her signature shoes as a core piece of their basketball strategy. But that question still carries some real significance. Could future corporate evaluations of Ree be impacted by criticism of her play? Obviously, when defenders give you space, counters become dangerous. Convert those offensive rebounds into highly consistent second chance points. Plus, you have to execute when the game is on the line. Reebok might not be sweating Angel Ree right now, but they are absolutely watching the same game as everyone else, making this whole thing hilarious. It is possible that Reebok is betting big on the young player's continued development as the Angel Reese brand expands, saying, yeah. But let us focus back on Angel Reese. She almost did not even want anyone praising Caitlin Clark. I do not understand it. Listen, you only say that about players wide open shooting a three. Not right at the rim, dog. No way. Come on, man. Come on. We do not say that for players right at the rim, only on threes. Sometimes you are too open when you shoot a three, but not right at the rim. That is just ridiculous. But if the basketball skills catch up to the brand, that wager gets even stronger. Plus, the fact that the Angel Reese one keeps dropping in fresh new colorways only proves that this major partnership remains a vital part of Reebok's hoop strategy, rather than something they are looking to abandon. So, if all the actual evidence does not support that rumor, the real question is not whether Reebok should terminate Angel Reese's contract. The far more interesting question is whether Ree can actually develop into the dominant basketball superstar that her massive brand power says she is. Because right now, there is an uncomfortable disconnect between production and marketing. The offensive skill set and the celebrity are just not the same. Look, there is a real disconnect between what fans see when she has the ball in her hands and how certain analysts talk about her. And all this criticism stems directly from that exact divide. Now, this entire conversation could drastically shift if Angel Reese can finally improve in those weak areas, especially her shooting, finishing, and overall offensive versatility. Those same missed layups being replayed and ridiculed today might eventually be seen as just an uncomfortable phase in her growth toward becoming a far more complete player. Still, that awkward question that no one in the marketing department can answer for her will keep being asked Until that development happens, does the actual basketball player genuinely fit the brand? Think about it. Reebok can sell the sneaker, ESPN can sell the storyline, and social media can easily sell the controversy itself. But ultimately, Angel Reese has to sell the basketball. And knowing how the sports media operates, do not be shocked if her loudest critics today suddenly claim they were just waiting for her breakthrough all along once she finally turns those shortcomings into real strengths. What if the most uncomfortable reality of Angel Reese's career right now is the very contract designed to make her one of Reebok's biggest basketball stars? Reese's off-court popularity, along with her endorsements and social media, is no longer the only thing in the spotlight after a string of performances that have fans questioning her offensive growth. Is Reebok simply betting on a brand that is bigger than the actual basketball player? Or are they actually seeing the superstar performance they expected when making that major investment in Reese? Because it's getting tough to ignore that question in light of what happened against Indiana.